They say the ocean is full of mysteries, but some are far more profound and unsettling than others. Scientists journeyed to an uncharted realm, hoping to glimpse the unknown, but what surfaced from the abyssal darkness was a living fossil, a ghost from the prehistoric past. What other ancient horrors does our planet conceal? Ready to discover? Here are 20 shark encounters that will haunt you forever. Number 20. The last dive. Many never-again decisions we make stem from a tragic incident that we barely survived, one that could have well ended our lives. I believe this was that moment for this particular diver, because you don't get closer to seeing those beautiful pearly gates than this. Why wasn't the shark more aggressive? Why his back of all body parts? You can't tell me otherwise. His mother must have been praying for him. And you see these two guys, they were watching a live feed from the surface, and the reaction on their faces was mine as well. Thankfully, he didn't suffer any serious injuries and was immediately able to get the help that he needed, because only an idiot, an adrenaline junkie, or both would go back to diving after having survived such a close shave. Number 19. Trouble in Australian waters. Whenever you're in Australia, you should brace for the worst. If you're not finding frogs in your toilet bowl or snakes falling right through the ceiling, it's a shark attack like this one on a fishing expedition. Armed to their teeth with fishing spears, it's almost as though these guys had seen it coming. Now, if I was half as resilient with my goals as the shark, I would probably be lounging in the Cayman Islands enjoying the rewards of my hard work and not making YouTube videos. I mean, look at how well it stood its ground against two armed men. It took the third of the trio's intervention with this boat to help them escape the hungry beast once and for all. Come get him in the boat. Quick, quick. Jeff, get in, mate. Talk about a hectic dive. Number 18. The 8-year-old scare. Now, I don't know about you, but I love to reward hard work with a nice vacation. This family shares my sentiment, and they're in the Bahamas for a nice getaway. The weather seems right, and they decide to take a boat for a spin and feel the water on their face. And let's be honest, children can be cute until they become pesky little things that you can't wait to get out of your hair. And I'm thinking that this 8-year-old's parents wanted some private time, so they let him explore the water while they remained on the boat keeping an eye on him. Now, while you could immediately and rightly judge the parents for being irresponsible for more reasons than one, let's cut them some slack. The young boy here isn't swimming too far from their reach, and by the looks of it, he seems to have earned the confidence of his parents. And I mean, just look at him go, he's a true natural. All's well with the world until he spots the subtle movement in the water and loses his mind when he realizes it's a shark, and in the clip you can hear his perturbed breathing. Now, unlike you and I, the little man grows a pair and instinctively defends himself and swims to safety. Yep, you just witnessed an 8-year-old take on a shark. Shame on you, Grandpa. Now, I might be stating the obvious, but learn from this family and never leave your child alone to explore the natural water bodies. Number 17. Burst your bubble. It's funny, when you think about it, the same humans that made airplanes thought it was wise to invent inflatable boats. I mean, the idea might be good on paper, but when it comes to real life, not so much. In an even more stunning turn of events, a group of Homo sapiens in the form of German tourists thought it absolutely plausible to take on one of these inflatable boats on an expedition in shark-infested water. Now, I promise you I'm not making it up. Whatever their reasoning in the world was, they learned the hard way when a tiger shark sunk its teeth into their rubber boat and deflated it. Not like it's any consolation whatsoever, but after the attack, speculations were that it probably mistook the boat for a dead whale and then decided that it wasn't as tasty as it looked. The disappointment must have been very serious. It didn't even care to bother the also clever humans within it. It simply just swam away. But don't get any thoughts, cause you may not end up so lucky. Number 16. Shark versus cage. Until I'm strongly convinced otherwise, I maintain that divers have little to no value for their lives. As if it's not enough that they go thousands of feet below sea level looking for God knows what, some even offer themselves as bait for sharks. That's right, here's what happens. They enter the steel cage for protection and are dropped into the sea to observe the wild water life in real time. It's like tethering an elephant to a tree with a thread. If this is not a dangerous sport, then I don't know what is. This one time, these divers almost met their Waterloo. A particularly violent shark that wasn't going to take no for an answer was going to somehow get past the steel bars, and I can imagine the divers at that moment thinking, oh, this is how it all ends. Well, there are no words in the end, honestly. Now it's time for today's topic. Off the coast of Point Conception, California, a team of marine surveyors conducting a routine coastal scan captured something that stunned every expert who reviewed the footage. Rising out of the morning haze was a towering dorsal fin, jagged and scarred like it had survived battles with creatures no longer found on Earth. At first, the crew assumed it was an oversized great white, until the fin kept rising and rising. Based on scale calculations using the nearby fishing vessel, scientists estimate the creature's full body length to be well over 40 feet, far exceeding any known modern shark species. The scars etched across the fin appear ancient, layered, and deep, similar to bite marks found on fossilized marine predators from the Miocene era. When sonar pings were sent toward the creature, it dove almost instantly, leaving behind a massive turbulence pattern usually seen only in submarine maneuvers. Could this be evidence of a surviving prehistoric shark species? What do you think? Number 14. The Virginia Beach Shark Tale. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different. If you're into voodoo and you shout "brave" 3 times in the middle of the night, this particular fisherman is said to appear in your living room. Just see for yourself. See how he neither fidgets nor screams for help. Yep, that's the stuff of greatness right there. This guy and Samson would have been buddies. You can also tell the great white shark seems to have met his match. Observe also the somewhat mutual respect they have for each other, both parties staying at a distance. A haunting experience for you and I, maybe, but not so much for the man with a heart of steel. Number 13. The unfortunate noob diver. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but everything about this guy screams, "I'm not a professional and I don't do this for a living." If you watch him dive, you hear the shakiness in his voice. He's probably only done this a handful of times before. And did I hear correctly? You're my hero. Oh my, you're my hero. He looks like he's having a good time until his friends from the top of the cliff yell that his life may be in danger because there's a shark in the water. He loses himself and pisses his pants, and the shark seems to taste his palpable fear as it lunges so close it's almost as though to further scare the living daylights out of him. In classic flight response, he swims to safety, runs back up the hill, and swears to leave diving for good. Meanwhile, take a page from his playbook and keep your friends around you before you do something dumb like scuba dive into uncharted waters. Number 12. Hammerhead attacks fishermen. It's always been unclear how far into the water is safe enough to go whenever you're at the beach. If you're like me, you go by the simple rule of thumb and stay in your house. But really, just stay where the majority are and don't try to be a hero. This one time in Florida, a shark decided that humans were having too much fun on its turf, and it was not going to be left out. Beachgoers first noticed a dark shape weaving between the waves, moving with a confidence that instantly shifted the atmosphere from carefree to tense. Parents began calling their children back toward the shore as the dorsal fin sliced closer, catching the sunlight with every pass. A few brave or foolish spectators lingered, phones raised high, hoping to capture a viral moment before the shark got too close for comfort. Lifeguards sprung into action, blowing whistles and waving people back with a sense of urgency that spread panic across the beach. The shark, seemingly unbothered by the commotion, cruised parallel to the shore as if inspecting the crowd that had suddenly cleared a path for it. For a moment, it almost felt like the animal was staging its own beach cameo, reminding everyone who truly ruled the coastline. It was so good that CNN even captured it. Now, is it just me, or were the humans not particularly welcoming? Number 11. Marine researchers versus great white shark. When you hear the word surprise, you're probably thinking of walking into a dark room after a long day, turning on the lights, and having your friends and family scream, "Happy birthday," in your face at the top of their lungs. But it's not likely that you're thinking of a great white shark springing up in your face. Well, that's exactly what happened with these scientists. Oh, holy crap. Despite having learned so much about the creatures, the shock on their faces seems to acknowledge that this is nothing like the controlled classroom environment they've known all of their lives, and it was wild. It doesn't matter that he was in a makeshift steel cage. We now know that that's never really stopped them. And had the shark leaped a bit higher, well, boy oh boy, one thing's for sure, their students would be getting an earful next class. Let's just hope they tell them the truth of how they were scared and not some bullshit and bull story of how they scared the shark away. Number 10. The greatest woman to have ever lived. My admiration is eternal, and my respect is colossal, and my love is unparalleled. Her name is Rainey Pierce, and she was out to do the unthinkable, which was swim the length of the Kiwi Channel in 17 hours. Mission impossible, but make it a woman. This feat by itself is haunting, but she appeared to be doing very well and on her way to finish in record time. I mean, just watch her glide seamlessly through the waves. The kayaker and the woman on the boat you can see in the video were her escorts. They could only feed her using a pole like you would bait a fish you were trying to catch. And all was going as planned until her escort spotted a shark beneath the wave. Everything changed in that moment, and it was no longer a race for a record. It became a race for survival. She and her escort in the kayak spent the ensuing moments trying to circumvent this brute. But even when it seemed to leave her kayaking escort, she couldn't shake it off from her trail, and it kept lurking like death in the shadows. Understandably but sadly, she couldn't complete the race. Imagine her relief when the rescue boat eventually arrived, though. Only the living can race, so she remains a hero nonetheless, and I hope she someday gives it another try. Number 9. Kayaking gone wrong. Ben Chansley operates a fishing charter company called Shoe on this. He was out and about making another fishing video for his YouTube channel when this shark that had had enough of his badassery facade decided, you know what, it's payback time. He should get a taste of his own medicine, and right before it flipped his boat like a pancake. That's right, see for yourself. Now, it didn't end there. In fact, what happened next was so bonkers that it made everyone wonder if Ben had somehow been a cat with 9 lives. After hastily swimming to safety, he pauses to catch his breath for a moment only to hop back on that same boat. And if you think he caught the shark and had the last laugh, well, you're absolutely correct, and he was a badass after all. Wow. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna post this guy's photo on my wall because he's everything that I aspire to be and more. Number 8. Beaching gone wrong. It's always been unclear how far into the water is safe enough to go whenever you're at the beach. If you're like me, you go by the simple rule of thumb and stay in your house. But really, just stay where the majority are and don't try to be a hero. This one time in Florida, a shark decided that humans were having too much fun on its turf, and it was not going to be left out. Beachgoers first noticed a dark shape weaving between the waves, moving with a confidence that instantly shifted the atmosphere from carefree to tense. Parents began calling their children back toward the shore as the dorsal fin sliced closer, catching the sunlight with every pass. A few brave or foolish spectators lingered, phones raised high, hoping to capture a viral moment before the shark got too close for comfort. Lifeguards sprung into action, blowing whistles and waving people back with a sense of urgency that spread panic across the beach. The shark, seemingly unbothered by the commotion, cruised parallel to the shore as if inspecting the crowd that had suddenly cleared a path for it. For a moment, it almost felt like the animal was staging its own beach cameo, reminding everyone who truly ruled the coastline. It was so good that CNN even captured it. Now, is it just me, or were the humans not particularly welcoming? Number 7. Paddle boarding havoc. Like paddle boarding is not dangerous enough. This guy woke up one morning and decided that he needed to go hang out with his shark friends. I mean, why else would you paddle board in shark-infested waters? In this clip, you can see the shark swims so close to the surface, close enough for him to see. Imagine how conscious he must have been at that moment. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and he loses his balance and ends up in the water with this vicious predator, and then lunch is served. Oh my god. The shark didn't seem to care, though. I mean, we've seen a shark flip a boat. What's a paperweight paddle board? If your guess is as good as mine, the shark had probably just downed a couple hundred sardines beneath and simply came up to play. It either wasn't hungry or it had simply come up because they were actually buddies after all. I mean, teach me to speak sharkish. Number 6. The unsuspecting Florida man. While his peers are out jacking stores and doing jail time for the most unconscionable crimes, this Florida man decides to be a black sheep in kayak. What kind of Florida man goes kayaking? Let's get the kayak ready to go and in the water. I'll see you guys out there. Anyway, he's having fun fishing and even baits and catches some fish. Well, we officially broke the ice now. Little does he know, the calm water around him is beginning to ripple with an unmistakable purpose. A shadow circles beneath his kayak, slow at first, then tightening its loop like a predator sizing up its next move. The man momentarily thinks it's just another curious fish, until the massive dorsal fin breaches the surface, slicing the water like a warning. His breathing quickens as the kayak sways, the shark bumping the underside with a confidence that sends panic shooting up his spine. For a split second, he debates whether to reel in the line or cut it, but instinct takes over as the shark tugs with alarming force. The ocean around him suddenly feels far too big, and his flimsy kayak far too small. And all's well until a shark catches the scent of his bait. And now getting more than what you bargained for is not always good news. This was one of those times when it was bad news, really, really bad news. Got him. Oh my gosh. In a classic flight response, he severs the bait from his fishing hook and paddles to safety. Alright, excuse my French, was just insane. Now, whether he goes looking for trouble or trouble comes looking for him, one thing's for sure, the Florida man and trouble are conjoined twins. Number 5. Camera shy. A group of divers were out on the water doing their thing when they observed the subtle movements of a huge great white shark from a distance. Like the professionals they are, they came prepared with their fishing spears and pointed them in the direction of the movement. But unfortunately, what seemed like a silhouette gradually began to take more form and the shark was moving closer. Just when it was within range, the most unexpected thing happened. The shark backed down and disappeared. My theory is that it didn't like the GoPros pointed at it. It's not like it was afraid of spears or anything. I'm not particularly sure what the goal was at that point or what these divers had for breakfast, but they didn't take the cue and hurry to safety like you would think. Instead, they were so intent on finding it that they split up and kept on looking. I mean, who really does that? Anyways, they would give up the search after a few moments and then went on their merry way. Number 4. A match made in the sea. Now, it's crazy how you never really know what to expect at sea. About 1,001 things can go wrong, and here it's a 15-foot shark having a romantic affair with the propeller of a fisherman's boat, and for no particular reason. As the crew stared in disbelief, the massive shark rolled onto its side, gripping the spinning metal with a bizarre mix of determination and fascination. The boat lurched violently each time the shark adjusted its hold, sending everyone scrambling to keep their balance. For a few tense seconds, the fisherman debated whether to cut the engine or gun it forward, unsure which option posed the lesser danger. The shark's rough skin scraped loudly against the hull, producing a sound that made every hair on their arms stand on end. One of the crew leaned over the railing to get a closer look, only to jump back as the shark thrashed its tail in a sudden burst of energy. The atmosphere shifted from comedic disbelief to genuine fear as they realized just how easily the creature could flip the entire vessel if it wanted to. I mean, just look at that grip. $5 bets that this shark was singing James Arthur's "Say You Won't Let Go" as it held so steadfastly to that propeller. The clip ends with this most unlikely affection still in full swing, so I'm not particularly sure what happened next, but for the sake of the boat's occupants, let's hope that it took Elsa's advice and eventually let it go. The next time that you're out at sea, don't act like you own the place. Say a respectful hello if you see a shark and hastily keep on moving while you're at it. Number 3. Big shark wants kayaker foot. If by now you can still hear the word kayak without immediately seeing a shark attack in your head, we failed to pass across the message. I'll give you one more example of the possible bajillion out there to help put the final nail in the coffin. This shark hasn't had its dinner, and from the looks of it, it's a feed guy. As the fisherman leaned forward to secure his catch, a dark shadow drifted beneath the kayak, moving with the slow, ominous confidence of something that ruled the water. Seconds later, the shark surged upward, its snout breaking the surface in a silent but terrifying ascent. The splash that followed sent ripples rattling beneath the kayak, jolting the fisherman out of his calm routine. For a brief moment, he locked eyes with the predator, realizing just how thin the barrier between safety and disaster truly was. The shark's momentum carried it partially out of the water, jaws parting just inches from the dangling fish bag. Heart pounding, the fisherman reacted on pure instinct, jerking backward and nearly tipping the vessel in the process. The unsuspecting fisherman was out about his business trying to secure a fish in his fish bag when his feet caught the shark's eye. Thankfully, its stealth wasn't half as great as its hunger, and the fisherman was able to see it coming just in time to raise his legs and tuck them back into the boat. Number 2. An upset bull shark. Remember how I said that bull sharks are unnecessarily aggressive? It appears this one had a bone to pick with this group of fishermen in their 30-foot boat. It attacked them 4 times, and just when they thought the unprovoked attack was over, it came knocking yet again. According to the fishermen, the shark first rammed the hull hard enough to send their cooler skidding across the deck. Moments later, it resurfaced beside them, its head lifting out of the water as if sizing up the crew before launching a second strike. The boat lurched violently, and one of the men nearly lost his footing as the shark's massive body scraped along the fiberglass. A third hit came from below, shaking the entire vessel like a sudden earthquake at sea. The final charge was the worst, an explosive surge that made the drone filming above wobble in midair. For a moment, the men feared the shark might actually breach the sidewalls and end up on deck. My guess is that the bull shark felt jealous of these capitalist fishermen in their fancy boat and their drone. But whatever happened to kayaks? Then again, if it could rattle a boat this big this much, imagine the damage it would have done to one of those small things. Thankfully, nobody was hurt since the big angry guy couldn't get in. Number 1. Shark versus glass cage. Remember when I talked about the suicidal ideations of divers in steel cages? Well, consider this to be part 2, only this time the diver wasn't so lucky. Never mind that Jimmy Partington is an expert diver and was supposedly safe within a glass cage. This time he got what was coming to him as the clever shark literally blew him out of the water by lunging at the cage from beneath, and Jimmy never suspected a thing. Witnesses later said they saw the shark circle low, almost as if it were studying the cage's weak points before launching its explosive attack. The impact sent a thunderous vibration through the water, shattering the illusion of safety and turning the entire dive crew into frozen spectators. For Jimmy, the moment felt surreal. 1 second enclosed in reinforced glass, the next launched upward in a violent burst of bubbles and debris. As he hit the surface, he could hear the frantic shouts of the crew, urging him to swim while the massive predator looped back for another pass. The shark's dorsal fin cut through the surface like a dark blade, closing the distance with terrifying speed. Each stroke Jimmy took felt heavier than the last as adrenaline and panic warred within him. Hate the shark, but you've got to admit how clever the maneuver was. It should be employed by these caging companies as an ethical hacker of sorts. If it can't break in, then you know the cage is rock solid. Anyways, once out of the water, Jimmy fights for his life as he swims as fast and frantically as he can towards the boat before the shark can reach him. Luckily, he somehow makes it out unscathed and lives to tell the story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.